Solar Opposites Season 3 has released and it is as wacky as ever. Also, The Wall is literally insane storytelling. Why is a show that I lazily decided to watch up in my top adult animated series? Solar Opposites is a Hulu original show created by Justin Roiland and Mike McMahon. It consists of a family of aliens being forced to stay on Earth since they crash landed there, and these are just the wacky adventures of how they go about their days. Can we talk about Season 3 now, guys? Just like the rest of the seasons, this will be split into two sections. What happens with the Solar Opposites family and what happens with the Wall people, because my god, this season gave so much more attention to the Wall than I remember them having in seasons 1 and 2. When it comes to the Solar Opposites family, this season really focused more on the mundane side. There were so many episodes where they tried to do a whole no sci-fi for said episode and it just got wackier. They did a whole freaking episode where they just stood in a line for the entire time. How was that entertaining? The first episode really gave you the theme of, we're gonna try to fight less this season, because it was about Corvo melting because the team never followed his orders or tried to fix the ship with him. The entire episode was them trying to turn stuff around and work for Corvo now, but to no avail. They just can't seem to do that. The episode will go on to end with Corvo accepting his role within this dysfunctional team, and that attitude was enough for his body to start regaining form. And he vows that this season he'll focus less on trying to get off of this planet and start living with the rest of his team to become accustomed to Earth. And this season was indeed just that. Corvo trying to find different hobbies and taking his life less seriously, which is why we got the Lion episode, and the episode previously where he was trying to find a hobby and ended up becoming a model train guy, just to turn himself into a train at the end of the episode. There isn't much I can say about this season except that it's very goofy. I feel like previous seasons did movie references and name drops, but this season did that so much. Each episode, somebody claimed the plot to be like, oh, this is just like Rocky, it's just like Cliffhanger, or so many other movies that they named. Which is fine because they always do it, but it feels very over the top in this one, to the point where I feel like they're doing it to alleviate criticism or just to pop a few people that get it, like I did when I heard them say,
"That is way too bleak for me. This isn't BoJack Horseman."
Unlike previous episodes, there was more of a focus on serialization for some reason. Not to a crazy extent, but in the hobbies episode, it ended with Corvo giving Terry's hobby a chance for once, which was standing in a line, and he was like, well, at least I won't be here for that long, and then the credits showed them still there, and he's like, whoa, the screen normally goes black during the credits, and then he's like, well, we won't be here in the next episode. And they were there for the entire next episode, which is the Lion episode. Another example would be in the betting episode, where Terry and Corvo bought this crazy bullet, accidentally shot it, and their neighbor made them lose track of it, so they shot that neighbor into space. Only for us to find out in a later episode that the silver cops that we found out about in a different episode arrested him and framed him for a crime. It's crazy storytelling for such a stupid show. Speaking of serialization moments, let's start talking about The Wall and that whole side of things. I mentioned this the first time I talked about Solar Opposites, but The Wall has genuinely no right to be as good as it is. This season, it took a weird turn. So last season we found out Sherry was still alive, so in this season, it was about her and Hank trying to get rid of Tim out of the office. But once they get there, Tim's already dying, but Sherry doesn't just want him to die, she wants him to confess to his sins, i.e. kind of like a Persona 5 type thing. But things don't go as planned, and there's a lot of stuff that keeps happening. Tim dies. Sherry doesn't want to be the leader, she wants some sort of a government to take place, but like the church people of The Wall want there to be some sort of a leader. We even looked at Tim's dream where him and Sherry got out and tried to move on with their lives before he died. It took us so much more screen time than I remember them doing in the previous seasons. In the previous seasons, I feel like The Wall was dedicated to like one episode, whereas in this one, it was sporadically thrown into a bunch of episodes. Like, here's a little bit from this part, here's a little bit in this episode. You don't care about these guys doing goofy stuff, here's some more stuff that's happening in the Wall. And Jesus Christ, it worked. Why is The Wall some of the best storytelling that adult animation has acquired outside of maybe Primal? The main thing about The Wall is that it makes me ask questions. Not about The Wall, because I never expect them to continue each season, but they keep going. It keeps going. The main thing it makes me ask questions about is Rick and Morty, because Justin Roiland works on here as well as Rick and Morty, so why doesn't Rick and Morty have these crazy storytellings? Even the other creator, Mike, he's a writer for Rick and Morty as well. Rick and Morty, they can do storytelling, but they're straying away from it. They shouldn't have introduced it at all if they were going to stray away from it. But it just makes me ask so many questions. Like, clearly, maybe like straying away from the storytelling is a Dan thing, because I would assume like they would want to get away from it in here as well, but they're not. Storytelling is abundant in here, which is, I don't know, it just makes me ask a lot of questions that I feel like I'll never have answers to. Now the main question I ask about The Wall is, where does it go from here? This season is as wacky as ever. I might even call it insane. There was so much anti-drama within here. I called it that because the main theme was about the team trying to work together for once, and it working most of the time. But the other half of the time they do end up arguing and getting back together in each episode. One of the weakest episodes I saw was definitely 99 Ships, where it was just them sitting in a bed, where the ship's AI told them different stories about the teams that were out there. It was funny and it gives you a bit of lore that we didn't already have. But overall, it was just a very generic episode. One of the strongest episodes was the one where Tim had a dream before he passed. The dream was amazing, them trying to get the solar opposites arrested, only to find out that they supply tech to the government so they can do whatever they want, is super funny and hilarious. Especially after finding out it was a dream. It's just like, why couldn't you dream something good? It's just an overall good episode. It's a great episode in my opinion. The last episode, well, technically the last episode until we get a Halloween special. I only know we're getting a Halloween special because of Wikipedia. But the last episode we have now has me asking so many questions about what the next season will be like. Will it continue to portray the setting that they set up in the last episode, or will it be reset because this is an episodic show? Will the people start playing a more important role within the next season? Like, genuinely, I have so many questions, and I honestly like having these many questions. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, because that's basically it. What did you guys think of Solar Opposites Season 3? I know I might be a little bit late with this review, but what did you guys think of it? I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I enjoyed it as much as Seasons 1 and 2, but Season 3 was still really funny and still had very good storytelling, especially when it came to The Wall, which I never expect to keep going. But yeah, tell me your opinions in the comments down below, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. Goodbye.